to the broadcast. Remember, it's important that you're part and parcel of the conversation. #MorningCafe at Linda_Alela. Are your deposits or are my deposits protected? Are yours protected? Well, I'm sure you could be asking yourself that question right now. And we're right here to ensure that we get to answer that. Guess who's on board? The Kenya Deposit Insurance Corporation Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Ahmed Mohammed. Well, that's a tongue twister right there. And he's here to tell us how you can get your deposits protected. If you do a lot of banking, if you do a lot of savings, if you do a lot of all this, you must be worried at some point in time. So what happens if my bank closes? Just like that. What happens if it's merged with another bank? So these are the questions that we'll be answering today. And, in the easiest terms possible for the people to get to understand. Good to have you, sir.
Good, Linda.
All right. Tell us what KDIC does.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Linda. And first and foremost, I know a lot of people have a problem with my name.
Yeah.
My name is Mahmoud Ahmed Mohamud.
Mahmoud Ahmed Mohamud.
Yeah, for the record. Otherwise, I want to assure all Kenyans, wherever you are, your deposits are safe and they're well protected by KDIC.
Yeah.
KDIC used to be formerly, used to be called Deposit Protection Fund Board, which is a department of Central Bank. So it was found prudent to indeed create now the Deposit Insurance Corporation in line with the international best practice, and also to put our country into the international sphere of businesses, because deposit insurance is one of the safety net participants. The other safety net participants are the Treasury, the Central Bank, and the industry, which are the banks. Who are our membership as Kenya Deposit Insurance Corporation?
Right.
Our membership comprises of all licensed and regulated, underline those words, licensed and regulated commercial banks and microfinances. So those are the institutions that we want to urge Kenyans to deposit their money with.
Okay.
Any other institution which is not licensed and regulated by the central bank is not a member of the Kenya Deposit Insurance Corporation.
And we get to learn about these other institutions that we do not want to put our money on. That is later as we proceed. But then we'd want to know what are the main roles. Is that one particular role where we know that our deposits are protected, that, is the ultimate role of KDIC?
That is one of our roles.
Yeah.
Indeed, our roles, we are called a risk minimizer as a deposit insurance.
Okay.
And we have three pillars or three mandates to drive what we call financial stability.
Yeah.
One of the mandates is the deposit insurance, which everybody is keen about. How safe is my deposit?
Yeah.
And that's why I started with it. The second one is we are also supposed to work closely with the central bank and the national treasury to make sure that we also participate in some proactive means to assist the banks to see how they can improve on their risk management, which we call the surveillance.
Yeah.
Then the third one is resolution, and I think that is what KDIC is well known for.
Yeah.
Which now I've put the number 3. That when in the unlikely event of an institution failing, we are the appointed receivers and we are the liquidators of those institutions.
Okay.
So before KDIC, people used to call DPF, those are the people who close our banks. So we used to earn very bad names. But nowadays we want to tell Kenyans, no, KDIC is not to close banks. KDIC is going to work with the central bank, the national treasury, and the membership to make sure that bank closure is a thing of the past in this country.
As we say that, public has been skeptical, and this is something that has become so hard to root out. First, about the financial systems that we have, So when we talk about KDIC, do we have the confidence and the guarantee that, one, it will come in handy to ensure that, it promotes the public confidence in the financial systems that we have in the country through deposit, insurance, risk management, and timely resolution?
Excellent. Linda, I want to assure Kenyans, KDIC has the ability, the capacity, and the legal powers to ensure that your deposits are safe.
Okay.
Indeed, just to excite the Kenyans recently, for the last 35 years, the coverage, once an institution is put in liquidation, the coverage has remained at 100,000 Kenya shillings.
Okay.
So this year,
Has moved to 500.
We have actually increased it to 500,000.
Okay.
And the 500,000 is twice what the international standard is supposed to prescribes.
All right.
So we said, no, we want to cover more Kenyans. And that is in the unlikely event. And one thing KDIC, as KDIC members of the public, we want to assure you, that is the last resort of resolution. You know, resolution has some stages.
All right.
Recently, you saw what we did with the Chase Bank. Chase Bank, 75% of it, we
yes.
sold it, yes, we sold it off.
Right.
So depositors are able now to access 75% of their deposits.
Okay.
Imperial, we are at the stage of also hiving part of it off. And indeed, that is now the strategy of KDIC, is to see how to hive off the good bank and remain with the small bad bank for liquidation.
Okay.
Before, and Kenyans could even stay for 20, 30 years to get their small money. At average, all those old institutions, which was about 24 institutions which were put in liquidation, at average we were paying about 12% after 30 years.
Right.
Within 30 years. But now here, you are accessing 75% within 3 or 4 years. Even those 3 and 4 years was inefficient on our side,
Right.
because we were still new. But going forward, we shall make sure that we do that, what we call the transfer and exclusion, what we like transferring the good bank.
Right.
We want to do it at a maximum period of 6 months.
Okay.
Yes, at worst case 1 year, so that depositors can continue accessing their money.
The money. So in the event that this happens, briefly, who then are eligible to the protection, number one? And is there a time when membership to KDIC is mandatory? And when is this done?
Thank you. Indeed, any licensed and regulated commercial bank and microfinance is mandatorily a member of KDIC.
Okay.
That's per law. You don't have a choice. Once you get your license, you also automatically become a member of KDIC.
Right.
Why are we doing this? Because we want to protect the depositors. KDIC is there for the depositors, and the depositor is me and you.
Yeah.
Okay? Right now with 500,000, we are covering 99% of the depositors. Before we were covering 97% of the depositors.
Right.
Yes. So now 99% of the depositors have 500,000 and less in our banks today.
Right.
Indeed, if we do a sample here now in your studio, you'll realize 99% of us have less than 500,000 in our accounts as we speak today.
Sure.
So those are the people we are covering.
All right.
And those are the people who make the banks and who are the engines of this country, because they are savings. And that's why we even want to encourage even our youth.
Right.
Please make sure you learn the art of savings, because savings becomes investment.
Okay.
Let us not be in this consumption pattern that we want to be in a smart car, want to be. Think of savings as a part of your own investments. And that's why we want to encourage the youth to have this culture of savings. And these savings at the end of the day is what now even drives our country.
Right.
Because those are the monies that people borrow, people expand their businesses, create employment. So you see the multiply effect will actually go up to the Wanjiko.
Right.
And that's why we are encouraging people to continue savings and try to reduce the consumption pattern.
Oh, amazing. And you were mentioning this before I cut you short. Let's come back to it. So what accounts are covered in this particular scenario? What are other facilities that are covered within this particular, and which ones are not? So at least Kenyans know where to invest.
Yeah. What is covered? All savings accounts, current accounts, even foreign currency accounts are all covered.
Okay.
Okay. But placements, you know, we have deposits and we have credits. Placements by other banks, those are not covered, because placements by other banks are not covered. And investments because even government are not supposed to put their money in, the government institutions are not supposed to put their money in until they get an approval from the National Treasury.
Yeah.
But all other deposits are covered. All other deposits in the banks are covered here.
All right. So in the event that my bank is bought out or merged with another, and you know, these are the basic and crucial questions that Kenyans will ask on ground today, having invested, having put up their money and all that. What happens? Now, and from the experience, maybe that is an experience you can ask the people now who have gone to SBM, right?
Which was formerly Chase Bank.
Chase Bank, yeah. 75%
of their deposits were transferred there, and to tell you the truth, Linda, they continue doing business with that bank.
Okay.
They do not just wake up one morning, close their accounts, and go to another bank. They continue, and that shows the resilience and the confidence the public have with our banks and the deposit insurance. And indeed, that is what we want to instill into our public. Don't keep the money under the mattresses.
Right.
Don't give it to the Shylocks. Put your money in the mainstream banking system, because that is protected and that is what will assist you. Yes.
All right, accounts held in trust, executor, guardian, or custodian, insured separately from individual's account, or it's a different scenario?
Okay, trust accounts are slightly different. But you know, if it's an account in the name of Linda Muhammad,
Okay.
Linda Muhammad will be paid.
All right.
Okay? If it's an account which is in the name of a trust, what we expected the trust holders to specify who are the beneficiaries of these accounts, because those are the people who will be covered.
Right.
But if they don't, it will only be the global account which will be covered.
Right.
Because trustee, they also have the end beneficiaries of those trust accounts. Yes.
And you could be asking yourself why I'm getting these questions or where they're coming from.
Yes.
So before I came for this particular session, there was that social media engagement that we put out to the people.
Yeah.
And these are some of the questions that they actually presented. So I said it is only fair and share that I award them the chance to get answers for them. So one is asking, what if I have several accounts in the same institution?
If you have several accounts in the same institution, the accounts will be consolidated into one.
All right.
So, but if you have accounts in different banks, Linda in Bank A, Linda in Bank B, those are distinct accounts.
Right.
But in Bank A, if there are 4 Lindas, they will be consolidated. In the unlikely event of closure, they will be consolidated.
Right.
Even in the mergers, it will be consolidated.
Okay.
Because that will be treated as one account.
All right. Another one asked, I am a non-resident of Kenya. Are my deposits held with member institutions in Kenya insured? I think in a way you answered that.
Yes,
initially.
foreign. Yes. We even insure the foreign accounts, which are in the commercial banks. Yes.
All right. In the event that a joint account exists in addition to individually owned account in the same insured institution, is each account separately insured?
Excellent. That is separately insured.
Okay.
Because the joint account is different from the individual account. We'll have Linda account and then we have Linda Muhammad account. Those are 2 distinct accounts.
Okay.
So they're being treated separately. Yes.
Well, is an account held by a limited liability company or a partnership insured separately from the individual accounts of shareholders or partners of those entities?
Yes, those are also distinct.
Okay.
Because there's a company and there's the individual. Those are 2 different accounts. Yeah.
All right, so what is the payment procedure of protected deposits in the unlikely event of a failure?
Thank you. In the unlikely event of a failure, we'll of course notify the public when they're supposed to be paid.
Yeah.
You'll have to fill a claim form, which now we're going to be doing online.
Right.
You don't have to come to the bank, which you have to do online, because we also have to verify who are these people we are paying.
Yeah.
So that is the process. Is you'll be advised, you'll go to the website of that particular institution, then you'll download the form, you'll complete it, you'll actually mail it, okay, or you'll put it on online,
right,
and then you'll attach the relevant, because we'll also want to see your ID and so many other things. You'll be taken through a bit of motions.
Yeah.
But we are trying as much as possible, in the unlikely event of a closure, that's liquidation, we're trying as much as possible, maximum within 30 days, we should be paying the depositors within 30 days.
All right. Well, and the claim procedures, I would want to believe, is exactly what it is that you say. Does it have to get someone coming to your offices, or online procedures is as good as?
Online procedures is as good as visitations, and we want to encourage people to actually make use of the online, because that is where we are going.
Yeah.
Want them to make sure they do that, because we at the back office of that bank we also have your records.
Yeah.
So it's just to reconfirm that this is the Linda who is a member of this, who is a depositor in this institution.
All right. Just how much is this information out there for the public consumption?
Thank you. It is there. Actually, we want to ask the members of the public to visit our website, which is now more robust than what it was before, and we are really trying to upgrade our website to make it more interactive.
Yeah.
Even some questions, they can even be throwing questions to us, and there will be chat lines in that website. So it is kdic.go.ke. That's our website. They should visit our website and all the social. We are also in all the social medias, and our offices are currently at the UAP Towers.
Right.
Yes.
That is Upper Hill.
Upper Hill, yeah. That's where our offices are.
All right. I think this should have been a question that I started with before we even delve deeper into the entire conversation.
Yes.
What are the market interventions that you've placed on board in view of COVID-19 global pandemic? Because this has shaken almost all sectors.
Excellent. We there's some market interventions. What we have done 3 market interventions. Number 1, we have increased the deposit insurance to 500,000. Number 2, we were intending to start to implement what we call the risk-based premium.
Yeah.
Currently, the banks are being charged the same premium when we're doing the assessment per annum. So we thought, as part of market discipline and also as part of equity, let's go, because we're also risk-based now as a mandate, let's go risk-based premium. A study was done. We want to thank our multilateral agencies, the World Bank and the IMF and the National Treasury, who actually sponsored the study. A study was done on the coverage and what we call the premiums. The premium. So now we wanted to go differential premium. The differential premium, which is risk-based premium, was actually going to be a bit, it was going to change the way banks were going to pay the money, because others, if the higher the risk, the higher the premium. So one of the interventions we said is that we were supposed to start it in July, 1st July this year. But we said because of the COVID and with its own risk and all that, the bank did not anticipate. Let's give the banks a breather of 1 year so that they can also reconfigure their businesses. Then next year we implement it. Okay? So that we can actually implement. Then number 3, the banks are supposed to pay their premium in the month of August. Where within 21 days, if you don't pay, penalties start accruing. So what we said, because of COVID, we gave them a breather of about 6 months. We extended it to 31st of December. So banks have a window of up to 31st of December to pay the premium for this year. So that we don't also squeeze them so much because of COVID and all that. So those are some of the positive interventions that we have actually brought into our membership. And we're in constant touch with them to see what's going on and all that, because KDIC is supposed to be more proactive than reactive. We don't want just to sit there and wait trouble is there. We want to see what is happening. We want to work very closely with the central bank and the National Treasury, so that we have what we call early interventions, early proactive interventions, so that that is where the world is going. Indeed, we're also members of the International Association of Deposit Insurance, where I sit in their board as a representative of Africa. And one of the things which indeed is being now kind of the world is actually being advised is preemptive measures. That is proactive measures. And that is why it's very important for the collaborations and the partnerships between the safety net participants. That is the central bank, the National Treasury, and the deposit insurance, and our membership, the banks. They should feel that these are the institutions. It's not that we are coming there with a room to fight them. No, they should not actually. This is to cushion them. Because whatever we are doing, we are cushioning them. Because for us, the beauty will, if there is no bank failure in this country, that is our ultimate goal for all of us. Even for the banks themselves. Because what I always tell people is that closing a bank affects in the cardinal principle of a state, which is it affects both lives and properties. And that is what we don't want our people to go through. We want our people to sleep comfortably knowing that there is an institution in case of a problem, it will be resolved, and it will be resolved promptly. The word is prompt resolution. Actually, that is the word. Prompt resolution. And that is one thing we want to assure Kenyans. KDIC is there for them. We want them to have confidence in KDIC and all the other organs, so that, because financial stability is very key in this country. Without financial stability actually is the lifeline of a country. If we don't have any financial stability, just imagine what will happen in the country. So that's why we are also putting Kenya into the international scene, because we are number 2 in Africa when it comes to deposit insurance. Nigeria is ahead of us, then we are after Nigeria. So we are really regarded highly internationally as a strong and robust deposit insurance, which also now even attracts investments from abroad, because now these people will also want to know, if we put our money there, if anything happens, what happens to us? And we are also assisting our neighbors in setting up their deposit insurances. Indeed, the other day we were working very closely with Ghana. South Africa actually starting a deposit insurance. We have also worked very closely with them. Uganda, we are working very closely. Tanzania and Rwanda, all these countries, we are trying to assist them because we have the capacity. And we have been actually in the system for long. Well, that's amazing. And I mean, just on a random thought, as a civilian, as a citizen, and a deposited for that matter, one then would ask, and I know you've heard of all these cases. The other time I was just going through the social media, and one person was complaining of how much the mom has lost. All of a sudden you wake up in the morning
morning and you have nothing in the bank, yet you have deposited something. It's quite a hassle for them to probably get to access this. So when we are talking about protection of the depositors' money, are we looking at a collective approach to it or individual basis? And in the event that it gets to that point where there's damage on an individual's account or there's a problem, then probably you're going to come in handy to assist?
Now, there are two things. We, of course, the banks also, we give them the leeway to do business with their customers.
Yeah.
And of course, we anticipate every bank will want to woo their customers and retain their customers. So we expect excellent services to the customer.
Right.
But in the unlikely event of a closure, that's now when that role now is now transferred to us.
Okay.
But before that, and this is what we tell banks, please make sure, of course, even them, they're in business.
Yeah.
Because they say losing one customer, losing one customer is more expensive than even recruiting 30 of them.
Yeah.
That's what the marketing strategy says. So any customer is a jewel. Because, Linda, there's one thing people need to understand.
Right.
And I want the public to understand this. As much as the bank is a private entity, indeed, the bank is a public entity. Because without your deposits, that bank won't be there.
Right.
Because you find the shareholders only own 10% of that bank. The 90% is the deposit which are there. Today, even the strongest bank in the world, if there's a run on those deposits, they say it can only take maximum 24 hours for it to survive.
Yeah.
So this deposit is for me, you, and the people out there.
Right.
So for the banks, this is the goose that is laying their golden egg. So the king is the depositor.
Right.
Not the shareholder, is the depositor, because without this depositor, there will be no shareholder value. So, and this is what we try to educate and to sensitize the banks, that is your king, that is your crown, that is your jewel, that depositor. So the way you treat your depositor is what will also speak to the way your business will be. And I want to urge the youth, I want to urge everybody, please, our banks actually so far are excellent when it comes to services, very resilient, very strong.
Right.
That's what we want to assure Kenyans. Strong. We have a strong banking. Even despite COVID, they have actually been strong and resilient of the COVID. So we want to ask our young people. We want to ask Kenyans, please make sure you deposit the monies in the licensed banks, because that is the money which will grow this country.
Right.
That is the money which will grow your government and all the institutions you're talking about, and even your own self. Yes.
We are particular about the licensed ones. This information is out there in the public domain on which banks are licensed, which ones are not, and which institutions you should not bank with?
Yes, they are, and indeed for us it's mandatory annually. We gazette all the institutions that we cover.
Yeah.
So if you go to the Kenya Gazette, if you go to our website, you'll find all those institutions. So we really want Kenyans to visit our website, where a lot of information is there, and we are trying as much as possible also to. Someone was telling me the other day, lower the voltage. We are trying to lower the voltage on languages, so that Kenyans, even in Swahili, we even have even the Swahili translation.
Yeah.
So please visit our website. You'll get all those information there, whatever information you want.
Well, you didn't have to go far to that person. You should have started by me. It's rocket science, I'm telling you. Sometimes when you try to understand some of these.
Yeah. So Linda, what we're also trying to do is that we're also trying to build capacity.
Right.
Indeed, we are engaging a lot of what we call our outreach programs. We're engaging a lot of universities.
Yeah.
We're also trying even now to sensitize them. And we are trying to partner with the universities to find out whether they can even have even courses, even units. Nairobi University has a unit on deposit insurance. And we want even to give them we want to give them the resource people.
Okay.
We want to give them the kind of the literature. Because deposit insurance, you are right, deposit insurance is kind of a new phenomenon.
Yeah.
So we are really trying to domesticate it. And in Kenya, and one thing I've even told the youth, particularly in the university, I challenge them, please, can you study deposit insurance? Because Africa now is the emerging market of deposit insurance. A lot of deposit insurances are being started in so many countries. We want to be exporting the resource people there.
Yes.
We want to create employment for our people. And the home, because today the hub of deposit insurance in Africa is Kenya. This is the first place people visit. And people ask us a lot of things, and what kind of capacity do you have? Everything, you get it. So we want to challenge and we want to motivate our youth to please take the lessons of deposit insurances. We have also worked even with the tertiary, like Kenya Institute of Bankers. Also for them even to introduce courses on deposit insurance. So to also build capacity here. which tomorrow we can export.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Anything else that we'd want to ask that you probably feel I would have left out, which is pretty much crucial at this particular point? I would have wanted to ask, is the approach to all the institutions that you deal with a harmonized approach, or are there differences and discrepancies, in regards to the same?
No, all the rules we apply are the same.
Okay.
It's a level playing ground.
All right.
It's a level playing ground. Now it depends with, do you have a Messi or do you have so and so in your team? But as what we want to create, we want to create an enabling environment. That is our role. Create that enabling environment for people to play in a very seamless and in a level playing ground. So we cannot apply different, because there was this wrong belief which was there before, the too big to fail and too small to matter. So indeed, we want now to kind of to demystify that. All banks are important to us, whether you're big or small, and they all matter to us.
Right.
So we don't treat one bank as different as the other. We treat all of them equally. And that's why with the risk-based premium, that is the equity we are talking about.
Right.
That one will bring equity. And you see, it's also a strategy for the banks also to redefine their risk framework so that we lessen problem banking. You can see now where we are coming to.
Right.
We can lessen problem banking, because if they find they have been rated low, and next year they'll have to work very hard to be rated higher. And by being rated higher, that means that they have really provided for all the risk management framework which is required. And that in itself now speaks to lesser failures or lesser problems in those banks.
Amazing. Mr. Ahmed Mohamud, the CEO of Kenya Deposit Insurance Corporation right here in the country. I must say that, yes, at least I've picked something that is indeed worth listening to. And on that very note, I can almost guarantee you that the people who are watching, and the numerous ones that had asked all these questions, are in a way confident to invest, because they know that their deposits are safe. And on that very note, we get to wind up this particular session of Morning Cafe. It's exactly 8:52 a.m. East African time. It was great having you, as I look forward to see you later in the day, the 1 p.m. news. My name is Linda Lela. See you again later. Thank you.